1, 2, 3, go.
What's up, and welcome to another episode of Winged Octopus. This is Tyler here, alongside Tess and Greg. How you guys doing tonight?
I've been better.
Yeah, I agree. I've been better too. Tess, how you been?
One of those days, just one of those days.
I gotta be honest. We talk about the weather sometimes here. I want some snow. What the heck's going on? We haven't had any snow yet.
Hey! It was a beautiful day here in good old Michigan. It was like a spring day, so we're gonna enjoy it because this time next month we're gonna have 3 feet of snow, and we're gonna wish we had the sunshine.
Yes, it's winter time. There's snow on the ground everywhere.
Tyler,
please don't jinx
make
us.
me fight you. I'm going to fight you, Tyler. God,
I love the snow. I have to be honest with you. I love the snow.
I love snow too, but in small doses when I don't have to drive.
So we're just going to get right into things here. The Red Wings have lost 7 games in a row. The Red Wings are reeling right now. You know, they just lost 7 games in a row.
No. They're not.
Red Wings are
They're not reeling. Jeff Blashill says they're fine.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Blashill says they're fine. They lost last night to the Montreal Canadiens 10-1.
Stop.
So let me just start here. Quickly, and then Greg, you'll be able to shout out the sponsor.
Yeah.
I get a call from my neighbor yesterday, and he's a Red Wings fan. For all you people that don't know, he's actually from Midland, Michigan. And he calls me, and he goes, "I'm scared for tonight." I'm like, "What do you mean you're scared for tonight?" He goes, "Montreal's really good. We're going into the Bell Center. They get every call there, this and that. And we're not doing really well right now." And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, he's right. And then he calls me again this morning. He's like, "I told you so." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I told him, I'm like, what am I supposed to be afraid of? Them beating us? I mean, they've already beat us before, and they usually beat us in Montreal. So what's there to be afraid of?" And he said something about possibly being a blowout. And that's what ended up happening.
I think your neighbor's psychic.
Yeah. Shout out to Brian there for that insight.
Blowout is a very loose term when you realize what actually happened.
Oh, that was a rout. Yeah, no, that wasn't good. We'll talk more about that, but Greg, I want you to shout out our sponsor, please.
Yeah, our sponsor is Howie's Hockey Tape. Howie's Hockey Tape is from the great state of Michigan, specifically Grand Rapids, and they provide each NHL team with awesome equipment. Howie's also sells to the NCAA, the AHL, and the OHL. Anything you need for the locker room, Howie's has. Please check out howieshockeytape.com or it's howieshockeytape.com or howieshockeytape.ca for our Canadian friends, and use the promo code WINGEDO. That promo code will get you 10% off your order. So check out Howie's today.
As always, Howie's is a great company. I actually recommend them as tape for your hockey stick, or honestly anything. When I used to work at the hockey shop, we used to get their tape, and the kids used to go crazy about it. And in my junior locker room, everyone used to have Howie's hockey tape. So definitely check it out. They really do a really good job.
Yeah, I'll tell you that as an organization, Howie's is probably doing better than the Detroit Red Wings right now. So.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are doing better than the Detroit Red Wings right now. Greg, where do you want to start off here?
I mean, my first bullet point says the Red Wings are garbage. So if we want to start, I'll let you or Tess. We can go with our current 7-game losing streak. We can start there.
Tess, no offense, but ladies first. Go ahead, please.
Tyler, I'm going to literally kill you. You just keep egging me on. Anyways, when we thought losing 6 games and that one Vancouver game back in October was like our lowest point, we had no idea what was coming. Like, that was just like a little preview. Like, you think it's bad? Just wait. We had, some highlights in mid-November, like we could be legit. Like, hey, well, that all went down the tubes before Thanksgiving. And we've been losing 7 games in a row. We haven't had a point, I believe, since last Saturday against the Devils when they got to overtime and they lost.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know what winning is like. It's very sad. It's depressing. I don't even like watch all like the games in full anymore. I wanted to throw my phone at the bar last night. And then what was really annoying is that everyone knows I'm like the hockey fanatic in my group of friends. Out and about last night, they're like, Tess, what's going on? Like, you know all the insights. I was like, I don't know. Just leave me alone. I was like in the fetal position. Like, make it stop. It was awful. I don't even know where to begin. Like, there's just so much that went wrong last night. I don't know where to start. So Tyler, if you want to pick someone that we should pick on first, be my guest.
Well, Jeff Blashill, gets criticized for a lot of things,
As he
and
should.
rightfully so for a lot of things. But there's one thing he said last night that really registered, and I mean he's right. The only people that can get the Red Wings out of the situation that they're in is the players. The coaches can't do it for them. The management can't do it for them. It's the players. This is a wake up call for the players. Are they going to step up? Are they going to sack up? Are they gonna be able to get themselves out of this? Personally, I don't think they're going to be able to get themselves out of it. And I think Jeff Blashill is a big reasoning because of that. Because Jeff Blashill, it looks like the team doesn't respond to him anymore. I don't have any examples right now, but I think as the season goes on, you guys will see that.
What about that 10-1 example?
Well, okay, but that's not my. Well, okay, I guess that is a good example because after the game, he said the only people that can get this team out of this situation is the Red Wings, and then he also said something about that this is going to keep happening until players realize that they can't give up easy goals, which he's right. He's 100% right about that. 100% right about that. But he says that to his team, and then they go out and in college football terms, they get the brakes beat off of them by the Montreal Canadiens, who a few weeks ago were reeling about possible, maybe not blowing everything up, trading Carey Price, trading Shea Weber, trading everybody, Pacioretty, shaking things up. And Montreal beats the brakes off of the Red Wings last night. And I don't know if there's one person to blame, but I think that the only way that they can get out of this situation right now is if they obviously start playing better hockey, and the coaching needs to be better. I feel like he doesn't learn from his mistakes. Last year, the year before, he rode the veterans, and now he's riding the kids, and there's not enough veterans to pull the weight. Honestly, I think the only way they can get themselves out of this is if Zetterberg gets off the schneid here. He hasn't really had many points at all lately. And if the kids start showing the way they're supposed to play. And then the defense is just brutal. I really think they need to sit Eriksson. I don't know how they do it.
Yep.
Eriksson needs to be like deported.
Well, no, I have a good
Siberia.
I've got a good
but
plan
that's not going to happen.
Put him into a small box and fire it into the sun.
Yeah, let me just say one thing about Jonathan Eriksson.
Extreme.
And this is not all on him. This is not all on Jonathan Eriksson. Let's be clear here. There's 20 guys in that room.
He's a big reason.
He's a big reason, but the defense in general, just look at a Stanley Cup contender, or look at just a playoff contender.
Yeah,
a number one center, a number two center, a number one, a number two, and a number three defenseman, or a good top four defenseman. You don't even need a number one per se. You can have a number two and then a few number threes, whatever. They don't have that. They have the good goaltending. They have good goaltending.
All right.
But the defense is just absolutely brutal. And until that gets fixed, they're just going to keep going into these situations.
So here's what we have just to know that Blashill needs to be fired. Here's a direct quote from Blashill last night on Fox Sports Detroit. He says, and I quote, "This team is good enough to win." He says the Red Wings don't need help from outside. They have character, and they must decide that this is unacceptable and play to their optimal level.
Oh, my God.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Was he even mad? Did he not even care?
No, he seemed pretty pissed.
No. Yeah, I mean, he seemed pissed.
I didn't
but
watch the interviews, but I'm like, what kind of no? You need to rip your players to shreds.
yeah, when you're
Call them
pissed,
out.
when
Call
you're
them
pissed,
out.
you don't say stuff like that. You give the Anthony Mantha was garbage comments. That's what you give when you're pissed. I mean,
That's not going to help the team out. Like I'm so sick of
no.
him being like, if he's trying to be like PC, I don't give a shit. Call
No,
your
this isn't
players
South
out.
Park. You're not PC principal. Let's go.
I'm just saying, like, just call them out because they know, like, players aren't stupid. They know when they get called out because the
No,
media
even
tells them that. So it like, because Dylan Larkin, he said, he heard like he knew that people were, he read the media and he's like, everyone wants expect me to be better. So he took that as like motivation. If you don't call
yeah.
anybody out, they're gonna think, oh, well, it's not my fault.
I mean, even Zetterberg said in all his time here, he does not
Remember a
he
game.
cannot think of a time where they've been more embarrassed than they were last night. He
I
says
did see that quote.
he says everyone they embarrassed everyone who has ever worn the winged wheel.
Yep, they
Think
sure
about
did.
that. Gordie Howe was rolling in his grave after
Yeah,
that game last night.
that's like total like Dead Wings era hockey they pulled last
Exactly.
night, and
Which Tyler,
no, not
yeah,
allowed.
which I think that brings us to our point number 2, that Holland needs to be fired, and we need to blow this shit up.
Yeah.
I just don't get
Absolutely.
how he's still like. So is Chris Illich then like his boss? Is that who he reports to? Because I want to know
Yeah,
what are
I
they do? Like,
believe so.
what
Yeah.
are the
yeah,
Illiches doing? This is not what they're used to. This is not what Mr. I has envisioned, and he was also rolling in his grave probably last night as well
yeah,
with Gordy.
yeah.
Like, how can you that family like look at what your parents did and built
Yep.
such an awesome team, and then you're just letting the management destroy everything you built.
I
No
think
one's
it's the
going to go
middle
to
of
LCA right now. No one's going to go watch a
no,
game. Who wants to go
no,
watch a team get their ass beat 10-1?
no. I think it's a
Instead,
middle of the season issue.
well, they can go find Jesus, get a cleanse going, and then get their shit together because I don't have time for this.
I hate to say it, but nobody's helping the Red Wings besides themselves. They're not getting help from the outside because they're hamstrung to the cap,
Yep.
and they're not getting help from Jesus. They've already gotten all the luck. No, listen. They've already gotten all the luck that they can over the
What
last
luck?
26 years. Over the last 26 years, they've had luck. They've gotten Pavel Datsyuk
No,
and Henrik
it's
Zetterberg.
called talent. We have
Yes,
no talent.
yes.
We've had
No, don't say no.
Lidstrom.
Don't say no talent. We
It's
have
luck.
talent.
It's
We've
luck.
got like 3 pieces of talent, but that's about it.
No, but listen to what I have to say. So basically, all I have to say is, you can't be good forever. Ken
No.
Daniels made a good point last
We
night.
understand,
You can't
yeah.
be
So
good
I don't want to
forever.
be. We can't go we were the best, and now we're just garbage. Like that's just. Whew.
You know what? I hate to
I'm
say
spoiled.
it, but I think that's what we'd rather be is garbage than to be a team that's in the middle. Nobody wants to be.
You
in the
don't want to
middle.
be a middle team. No,
No.
not at all.
In the NHL, you can get away with it more than other leagues, but you're still probably not going to win a Stanley Cup being in the middle.
No.
And
It's just I don't want to be like the butt of jokes, like, "Oh, you're a Red Wings fan, haha, you guys lost." Like that's like embarrassing. Like I used to feel like a Banff, like, yeah, I'm fucking from Detroit, I'm a Red Wings fan. Now I'm just like, yeah, I used to like the Wings. Now it's the Lord is testing my loyalty each and every game. Like seriously, my loyalty has never been tested so hard than it has this season. Like last year wasn't nearly as bad. Like it's tested every freaking game.
Well, to be fair, it is just a bad stretch. They could get out of it, even if they don't make the playoffs. They could end up getting out of it and being
But do we want them to?
okay team. Well, that's kind of the point of this blow this up here.
Yeah.
Do they blow it up or do they keep it? I just don't really understand like who you're gonna blow. What are you blowing up? I mean, I guess you can make a trade with Gustav Nyquist, or you can make a trade. Mike Green, who's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But who are you blowing up? Nyquist, Tatar, Nielsen, maybe if you eat some salary. You're not trading Abdelkader. You're not trading to Kaiser. You're not moving Helm. I mean, unless you're going to eat some of the contract. That's what it comes down to.
Here's
You're
the thing.
only going to be able to eat some of the contract, and that's the only reason why you're going to be able to entice some of these Stanley Cup contenders to take some of those.
You can trade Green, right? You can trade Green for pretty good value because he's one of the top 10 defensemen this year right now.
Yeah, he's been good.
He's one of the team leaders too.
So good. Good. You can get rid of Green. You can trade Tatar and Nyquist even if you get third-round picks for him. You can trade.
I'll take anything.
Exactly. You don't have to trade Darren Helm. Just waive him. Waive him. He'll have to go to Grand Rapids.
They're not doing that.
No,
There's
you
too
can.
much loyalty there.
No, it doesn't matter. That's a thing. Which I think brings us to our third point. Fire Ken Holland. What the hell is he doing here?
If
when
you
bring in
fire
a new
Holland,
GM,
you'll fix a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Other people won't. Other people I think like you guys said before, it has to be someone from the outside. No more in-house stuff. You can't bring Chris Draper up here. Have somebody random come in, because they do not have that connection. They will wave Helm like it's nothing.
Or trade him for a 4th-round pick.
Not even
that too.
5th, 6th-round pick. Who gives a shit? You bring in a new GM. What the hell does loyalty mean to someone that's new to the organization?
That would get Bertuzzi up here, give him a little opportunity.
Yes.
You get rid of Mike Green, that gives Joey Hickett an opportunity. That gives Arvey maybe an opportunity at some point.
What that does is that brings Hicketts in, that moves Arvey up from the freaking Toledo Walleye where he doesn't belong up to Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Like, what is Vili Arvey learning in Toledo? Absolutely nothing. You move him to the AHL, you move Hicketts up, you put Arvey on the line with Hronik, and, come on. The problem is that you've got all these people that are so ingrained in this organization that all have the same mentality, and when that mentality stops working, you need to get rid of them. Mm-hmm. When that mentality is not winning you games, when it's not promoting players, when it's not bringing synergy to the organization, and when you're losing 10-1 to the Montreal Canadiens without their top scorer, what are you doing?
And also, they lost the Canadiens 6-3 2 nights before, so it's not just like a one-game deal. Because I was telling my mom yesterday, I was like, there's like a few handful games throughout every season where teams are going to have a blowout game. Either you're winning 8-0 or 10-2 or 10-1, or it's just everyone has those games. But I'm like, how many times have they lost by 4 or more goals this year? Way too many.
Exactly.
Yeah, too many
That's the problem, and they have not fixed it.
What's the trivia question? Who got a hat trick last night?
I didn't even
Paul
watch
Byron.
Who the hell is Paul Byron?
Well, because I watch the NHL pretty much every day. I know exactly who Paul Byron. No, hold on. I know exactly who Paul Byron is, but a lot of people that aren't, big NHL fans, but they're just Red Wings fans, don't know who Paul Byron is.
I know who Paul Byron is. Does Paul Byron deserve a hat trick?
No.
No,
he doesn't. No.
Exactly. Who deserves a hat trick before Paul Byron? Does Anthony Mantha deserve a hat trick before Paul Byron?
Yes.
Okay.
I would also say Alex Galchenyuk.
Exactly. Goodbye, Ken Holland. Hello, Yzerman for a good trade, or Lou Lamoriello, who is lame duck GM number 2?
Ooh, that would be a nice get there.
What's happening?
What is
it going to take? What's it going to take Chris Ilitch to make the changes that he knows he needs to make?
Maybe if fans just don't go to games anymore and they have an empty arena.
You mean empty arena?
See, I have a very...
No one wants to go watch a shitty team.
So I have an interesting thought about this.
Oh, Lord.
Please think share. That I have a rant at some point, but it's not.
Go ahead.
Yet.
No, you can rant now. I'm giving you your 5-minute rant timer.
Hold on.
5 minutes?
First of all, I want to bring something up very quickly.
Go ahead.
Well,
so we talk about the empty seats and everything like that. Okay, fine. I think personally what they're trying to do this year, and it's not the right approach, and even my friend that's a Maple Leafs fan said it's not the right approach. because Red Wings fans are original six fans. They'll understand if you have to go through a rebuild. You just had 26, 25 years of success. If you rebuild for 4 or 5 years, okay, who cares? You're original six. You know, you're an iconic franchise. Fine, rebuild. The fans will understand. Even if they don't come out every single solitary night, they're going to understand that,
At least
they're
trying.
going through some transition. Look what the Tigers are doing in Detroit right now. They traded a lot of players. They traded Verlander. He got his World Series. They traded J.D. Martinez. Sorry, Tess. They traded all kinds of players. Justin Wilson, Alex Avila. The list goes on and on what the Tigers did. And they waved the white flag and said, hey, look, we're not contending this year. We're not going to contend the year after. We're going to trade. We're going to build through the draft. I know it's different. It's a different sport. But the Tigers realized, look, we're not good enough to win now. And the Red Wings need to do the same thing. So my point is, why, instead of the Red Wings thinking, okay, look, this is a brand new arena, we have to get as much out of this season as possible, and I think that's what they're thinking. Why? You have an understanding fan base. If you be honest with the fan base and say, hey, look, we're going through a rebuild. It's going to be tough for a few years. We're going to have a lot of young kids. We're going to have a lot of young kids coming up here. We're going to have some older guys too. And we're just going to do it that way. That's fine. The fans are going to understand. The fans
are going to rejoice. They'll probably come more.
We want to see the kids.
We want to see the kids. We wanted to see the kids since Datsuk left.
No, more like since Wilson retired.
How long have we been screaming? And on Twitter, I see it every day. When are we going to bring up Hicketts? Free Hicketts. Bring up Bertuzzi. Bring up Daniel Renouf. Like, what are we waiting for? We're losing 10-1 now. If we get rid of this shit, kill cap, bring up kids, and still lose 10-1, what's the difference?
Yeah.
What people don't get is, yes, it's tough to move an Abdelkader. It's tough to move a De Keyser. It's tough to move a Franz Nielsen. But if you eat some of the contract, not only is, like, okay, let's just say for the sake of the argument that Danny De Keyser is making $5 million, which I believe he is. I think he's making 5.
Well, it's like 4 point. I think it's like 4.25 or something.
Let's round it off to $5 million, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. You eat half of that. That's what 2.25 or whatever. Okay, fine, right? Then you bring up 2 kids that are worth what, 800,000 or 500,000, which is the
De Keyser's a flat 5. Yeah, you're right.
It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. If you want to keep De Keyser in here because of veteran presence and whatever, okay, fine. Fine.
Yeah,
so get rid of Eriksson. Hold on. Get rid of Eriksson. Get rid of Abdelkader. Get rid of Nielsen. Get rid of all this trash. Helm. It's over. The glory days are over. This is the reality that we face. And if you don't if you don't face it, you're going to be in a worse situation when the new GM comes. Because Ken Holland is not staying past this season. No matter what, he's not staying past this year. I'm going to go on a rant, but I want you guys to chime in.
The glory days were over years ago. The glory days were over in the before 2010, 2011. That's the end of it. Like,
I would say 2013.
If you got rid of, even if you just got rid of De Keyser's $5 million, and you bring up Joe Hicketts in the NHL is making $635,000.
Perfect.
Like, are you serious? That's it. Like,
perfect.
You bring up him.
The Chicago method.
Yeah, you bring up him. If you bring up him and Renouf, Dan Renouf, right now, $767,500. You bring up both of them, and that's less than half of what De Keyser is doing to just fucking take up space. Like, what are we even doing?
We need to get Ken Holland the book, How to Be a GM for Dummies for Christmas.
Exactly. No. We need to get Ken Holland the book on how to find a new job that's not with the Detroit Red Wings. Which brings us to our next point, which is the team needs to hire new leadership from outside the organization. And Tess, I'm going to let you kick off why we need people from outside.
Well, I think we've already established it. The loyalty, which I think we can all appreciate loyalty, but when you're going through times like this, where it's just been a handful of years of just mediocrity, you need to just kind of cut some ties and get some new faces, new personalities in here, and just kind of just make everything refresh. I just feel like it's just they're all about tradition, which I totally understand and respect that, but the tradition has been dead for a while. When like all the players of our childhood retired, it's just like, okay, time for a new era. With all these new, like this younger generation of players coming up, you should give them like some new coaching and new management to kind of grow up with. Kind of how like what worked for Steve Yzerman is not going to work for Larkin and Mantha.
No.
So you need some outside sources that have no idea what is going on or, has no ties and can just kind of look at Erickson and say, you fucking suck. We're going to waive you. Or Darren Helm, well, you're useless. We're going to waive you. Advocator, you were overrated. So you're going to be on the fourth line the rest of your career. Have fun.
Well, the
That's
problem is
what needs to happen.
Yeah, the problem is it's breeding normalcy. It's like you're mediocre, but that's fine right now. And that's the problem. You're breeding normalcy in the fact that you didn't perform to what we know you can perform as, but as long as you're giving your best effort, that's fine.
It's like, you get a participation trophy. Exactly. You tried. No, you're a professional athlete. Play. You're getting paid a whole shit ton of money to play a game. So play your fucking best.
But Tyler, when does that stop being fine? When does mediocre stop being okay?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I was pretty sick of mediocre. About the first year we lost to Tampa, in the first or the second year we lost to Tampa. The first year we gave it a shot. We lost in Game 7. Datsuk left after that, Datsuk left after the second year, and okay, fine, But the second year we lost in 5 games. They were hard fought 5 games, whatever. But I was sick of it then. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sick of being mediocre. I'm sick of having some players that are just Nyquist, underwhelming. I mean, Gustav Nyquist was unbelievable that year that they called him up. Unbelievable. Yep. Him and Tatar. And they're underwhelming.
No, so you can't keep them. You can't keep them.
What do? You have to trade them. You have to move them. Bye.
I've been saying trade them as a package deal for years. Trade them both together. Whatever's going to get the most return, just get rid of them. They're doing nothing.
To me, it gets to the point of, do you want to be mediocre or do you want to win a Stanley Cup? Do you want to keep the streak alive, which is gone, thankfully?
I mean, right
or do you want to win a Stanley Cup?
No, right now, it's not even do you want to win a Stanley Cup. It's do you want to get past the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you want to win a conference championship? Like,
the game is much different than it was when Ken Holland had success, right? The game's a lot different.
There wasn't a cap.
There was no cap. He could pay players whatever he wanted. All of that. I get that. And he did have success in 2008. Let's not give him, let's not.
We also still had Nick Lidstrom and we had Datsuk and Zetterberg in their prime.
But you also got to give him negotiating those contracts the way he did with Datsuk and Zetterberg. And Lidstrom going literally year by year. And, please, give me 1 second. So, year by year, he would go with Lidstrom. One of the best defensemen that easily could have got $7 million, $8 million, $9 million, $10 million, whatever he wanted a year.
Yep.
He was going year by year with Nicholas Lidstrom. And there was no question whether he was going to leave or not. He was never going to leave.
No.
But they would go year by year because they wanted to keep the cap. Now, he has not done a good job with the cap over the last few years.
Hell no.
Not at all. But I'll tell you what.
Ever done a good job with the cap?
Yes, that's what I just got done through saying. I think he did a good job initially with it. I think now, later in the process, with signing Abdelkader and signing Helm and signing guys that you don't need like Franz Nielsen, that's where he's gotten in trouble. And
I'm over him signing the middle-aged guys that are like in between teams and careers. Like, oh, we'll give you a home for a year. No.
To be fair, Franz Nielsen has been probably
Underwhelming.
well, no, he's been one of the Wings' best forwards as far as
Yes.
consistency goes. Not scoring, not points production, but consistency.
He's number 3 in goals right now, by the way.
What pisses me off more is how much money is Justin Applicator making? Someone tell me, because I don't know. It might as well be $10.
Oh, yeah,
because I feel like bad. On a daily basis, for Justin Applicator's $4.25 million a year, I could go out there, tell him to give me $1,000, and I'd do a better job than Applicator.
Like, you want to know a fun fact? Applicator's actually in number 3 for assists on the team so far. He has 13 assists this year.
That's nice.
Applicator hasn't been dreadful this year. Last year was dreadful.
Yeah, this whole team as a whole just is dreadful this year.
Like, right now, the Red Wings shouldn't settle for near dreadful. Like, sorry, Applicator, you're slightly above dreadful, so you're fine. Like, that's not acceptable.
The way I look at it is, okay, they can go with what they have right now. And some years it might be good enough for the playoffs if the East isn't good. A lot of players get hurt, all of that. Excuse me. But do you really want to be mediocre? Do you want to just get in and say you got in and sell a little bit extra tickets and give out all the playoff towels and sell out LCA? Do you want to do that? Or do you want to actually have a chance when the playoffs start? Do you want to say, oh my God, look, we got Tampa Bay in the first round. This is going to be a great series. How many times have you seen in the last, 4 or 5 years that you get these teams and you're like, oh, we have Tampa Bay in the first round? Oh, man.
We're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sick of that. I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I personally liked when we had the chance, we were in March or, late February, early March, and we already knew we were in the playoffs. We didn't have to play.
What's it like? We haven't had that in like 10, 11 years.
Yeah, but nobody has that anymore.
Secure in February.
No, the only teams that have that are Chicago and Pittsburgh.
Chicago ain't getting that this year. They're gonna have to work for it
Chicago shit the bed this year. So I mean, they've been going down the past couple of years. Jonathan Toews.
Which is fine.
Yeah, Jonathan Toews, best captain in the entire NHL. No captain better than Jonathan Toews. Whenever I see that, I throw up in my mouth. But it's like
Crosby, and I'm like,
such a baby.
Yeah, like best captain. What the hell are you doing for your team? But I mean, it's
damn thing. But thank God we're not Blackhawks fans.
What everyone needs to say though is like, we're not a college team. This isn't college. Getting in's not good enough.
No,
you need to stop going to games, like make that arena emptier than it is, and maybe the ownership will realize, hey, maybe we need to do something to make people get in. Maybe we need to fire the coach. Maybe we need to fire the GM. Maybe this needs to get better. But I think that brings us to our last point of the night, which is maybe we need to trade absolutely everyone. And I'm going to let you guys pick that up.
So I'll start here real quick. That's easier said than done, right? You can sit here and say,
of course,
you want to trade this guy, that guy, the other guy, whatever. We're not even going to bring up names because it doesn't make sense.
No, bring up names. Who you want to trade, Tyler?
Okay, fine. If I was to trade 3 people, Mike Green, because his contract expires at the end of the year, Gustav Nyquist, because he's been very underwhelming, and quite frankly, Franz Nielsen. I like the guy. I hate the contract. And if I were to keep the guy, obviously, the contract is fine. He's a fine player, right? But a Stanley Cup contender or like a team that wants to be a Stanley Cup contender could use a guy like Franz Nielsen. He's good on the power play. He's good in the shootout. He's also good on the penalty kill as well. He's very good defensively, very responsible defensively. And he can put the puck in the net, and he can also pass. He's the type of player that you want.
He's a threat.
If you're contending. He's not the type of player if you want, or he's not the type of player that you want
if you're a piece of shit middling team.
Yeah, if you're mediocre, because sometimes the Red Wings come out and they look like, oh my God, who are these guys out there? And then lately, they've just like, what the hell is going on? They're not this bad, and they're not as good as they played early on. So what kind of team are they?
Yeah. Well, what do you think we can get for? What do you think we could get? Like, what do you think we could get for people like Gustav Nyquist or Thomas Tarr, Mike Green? Mike Green, we gotta at least get a first round pick.
So we touched on this at the first part of the podcast here, and Mike Green would probably get you a first or a second round pick, probably a second, because teams don't like giving up first round picks anymore.
If you're Edmonton, you'll give up a first round pick.
Yeah, maybe. But then there's always the chance that they end up in the lottery again, which Ken Danielson would be a crime.
It would.
Have to investigate. But anyways,
they can't pay for it.
Yeah, you could probably get a first or a second round pick from Mike Green. For Gustav Nyquist, depending on the team and what they need and what the leverage is, I would say a second round pick, maybe a third, probably a second. I would lean closer to a second. But his contract is up soon, and so I guess that would also play into it as well, as he only has 2 more years. So this year and next year. So I guess the team would have, whatever team is getting him would have control. So I guess you could probably command a second round pick, or maybe even a first. Who knows?
I don't think you're getting more than a second for Nyquist.
The second, he's played decent this year. He's been okay. And then, I mean, Franz Nielsen would probably get you a third.
Yeah.
And if you have to eat all the contract, maybe you could get half of the contract. Maybe you get a second.
I think you're getting a third in a prospect.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even need the prospect. Give me a second, and that's it.
Tess, who you shipping out? What do you want?
Everyone but Larkin and Mantha. I want a new GM.
Wait, now see, the thing. You would have to trade.
Yzerman, come.
Exactly.
I don't even know who's even available. I mean, the more picks, the better. I mean, just literally, if your name isn't Larkin, Mantha, or Anthony Ciu, you can pack your shit. Exit stage left.
You do the Mike Commodore. Pack your shit.
Love that hashtag. I really hope Cromwell, for the sake of his own well-being, retires after this year. He is just too fucking old. Like, And then Zetterberg, I mean, who knows? I mean, I love him, but he hasn't scored in 20 goddamn games.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, I don't judge him on that because he is older and stuff, but I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like he might be going through an awkward time right now because, like you said, I don't think he's ever had this much of a bad streak in his career.
No, he hasn't.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the game has gotten too fast for him.
Which is sad. I mean, but he's 37, right?
36.
37? No, 36
37.
or 37.
Yeah, you might be right. 36.
Yeah. Anyway, he's closer to 40. And, we have all these young guys coming up. And I know he probably wants to play as long as he can, but it's just, I always said when they got to the new arena that some of these old farts are going to want to have 1 year in the new arena. Well, I'm really excited for this year to come to a close because I'm really hoping that these old people hang them up. Because that could help us a lot. And Erickson, oh my God, I would give a kidney up to if it meant he would leave.
I'd pay him to leave. Pay him to go away.
Can I just add something about Jonathan Erickson?
Yeah, go ahead,
Tyler.
As long as it's not positive.
I know you guys haven't played. I know you guys haven't played hockey on a team or anything, right? But if you turn the puck over and it leads to a tying goal, or you take a penalty and it leads to a power play goal that ties the game up or makes the team come closer, the coach will say, look, come over here. You're taking a seat right there.
Yeah,
Jeff Blackfield's like, oh, no, you go back out there the next shift and redeem yourself.
Redeem yourself.
Redeem yourself.
What the hell is wrong with him?
I
know.
I've never seen anything like it.
Guys,
does he have nudes of somebody? Does he have something on somebody? I'm not kidding. What is going on there? Some investigation needs to be done. Why does this guy get a free pass on everything?
It's unexplainable. I think my big thing was if with Nielsen, I'm okay with Nielsen simply because I know Zetterberg's probably got 1 more year in him, and Nielsen's 4 years younger. So you keep Nielsen for a couple more years just for that veteran role, simply because he's a good setup guy.
Yes.
He's very even with all his abilities. He's good defensively. He's good offensively. He can do what you want him to do. He's
He's a
not going to
smart
give up a lot.
player. Yes.
Exactly. He's not going to give up
He's not like
a ton of chances. He's going to be solid. And when Z retires, honestly, for a veteran presence, there's not many other people I could think that are going to be available or that I would want on the team other than Franz Nielsen, especially for the contract that he has. So I'm okay with keeping him. But other than that, like Tatar, give me a second or third round pick. Bye. Nyquist, same thing. I mean, get rid of everything that is not named Larkin, Athanasi, or Mantha. Bye-bye, Jimmy Howard and Peter Mrazek. I'll suffer through a year of Jared Coro. I don't give a shit. Just blow up the organization right now. And if you're a fan, you understand that this needs to be blown
especially
up.
if you've been a lot, like, especially I think I said it before, the fans that are our ages are like the 90s kids that grew up seeing 4 cups in 15 years. It's a real struggle. Where I know, like, people that are my family's age, like my mom's age and my aunts and uncles, like, they went through the Dead Wings era. So they're like, well, we didn't think we would see this thing again.
Yep.
And they went through it, like, we survived. I'm like, well, I wasn't born into that. I was born into winning.
Yeah.
I was spoiled. So it's just like a reality check for us 90s kids because we were so fortunate to witness so many amazing things in those 25 years. It's just very frustrating because we know what needs to happen, but it's not happening.
Yeah. And what makes no sense and what would absolutely happen is if you blew up this team and you got rid of Holland and you got rid of Blashill and you got rid of 60% of the players, you know how many more tickets you would sell just because you cleared out all the bullshit?
The dead weight.
Like, you would sell so many more tickets just to see the kids play under a new coach.
And a new GM.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's coming, guys. I don't think it's going to be during the season because they're going to try every...
God forbid they be, rebellious and just do it now. Pull the plug now. I don't see...
They're going to try every avenue to try to compete this year because they're in a brand new arena and they're trying to sell as many tickets as possible and yada, yada, yada. Fine.
Even though you ain't selling shit.
But I understand. Okay, fine. You want to compete. You want to do whatever. We're not going to get Rasmus Dahlin. Okay, I've got it. I understand.
I don't.
But hold on a second. When you get to the summertime, you better tell Ken Holland, look, we appreciate everything you've done.
Hope you have a nice retirement house.
You either retire or we give you a little bit of a job. You're not going to have any responsibility. You just
no. Don't tell him that. No, don't give him options. Be like, you either, here's 2 papers. Sign your retirement paper or sign you're fired. Those are your 2 options.
Well, here's the thing. You know how it is when it comes to GMs and breakups. I mean, Dombrowski was different with the Tigers, but
yeah,
with the Red Wings, there's a lot of loyalty there, and I understand. I mean, there's been numerous GMs that have kind of just said, "Hey, look, I'm too old to do this, and I'm still going to get paid, and I'm going to get like a little bit of an office.
They get money regardless."
Yeah, they're going to give him an office, and he's just going to be like a special advisor or maybe an advanced scout or something, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. And then they bring somebody else in. They let the new GM hire the coach, whichever coach they want, and then we start criticizing the decisions that this new GM makes because that's who we are. We're fans.
Yep.
And until
we think we know everything,
until we get a team that's decent, we're going to criticize everything. And even when that team is decent, we're going to say that they can be better.
Exactly.
Because that's who we are.
That's our job.
Detroit Red Wings fans. We grew up with this team being good, and now they're shitty, so we want change. And when we get change, and they're good again, we're going to say, oh, no, that's not good enough until you win a Stanley Cup.
Exactly.
Because that's who we are.
We've
fallen into the New York Yankees mentality.
I will bring you back to reality and tell you just be happy to be in the playoffs, you freaking greedy motherfuckers. I'll bring you back down to reality. Don't worry.
When you have a team with a lineage like this, you can't expect mediocre. You have to expect the best. It's
They have those sayings in
unacceptable.
their freaking locker room. Like, clearly you guys don't like take those quotes to heart because you guys are playing like complete garbage.
Yeah.
This is all stressing me out. I'm gonna probably have like a million
I
gray
think they're
hairs
really
after this.
struggling right now. I don't think they're as bad as they've played, but I also think that if for the long-term good of this organization, you need to take a hard look at, firing the coach and maybe bringing an interim guy in, even if he's not your guy long-term.
Even if it's Todd Nelson.
I was going to say Todd Nelson, I think.
But I wouldn't want to mess with that. What's going on in Grand Rapids either, though.
Well, they're losing like shit too right now.
Yeah, they're mediocre as well, so might as well.
No, but still, I mean, they did win the Calder Cup last year.
Yeah, that was last year.
Some pretty good players, and I wouldn't want to mess with that too much. And plus, now you're going down the same Jeff Blashill road. I would want to do something different.
So fire Blashill, make Doug Huda interim manager, and just wait out. Fire Holland, and then wait out the year. I mean, that's probably.
See, I would wait out the year and then fire Holland at the end of it, or not even fire him. Just like give him a different.
Let him go.
Title. Yeah, give him a different title.
Because
that's what's going to happen. They're not going to actually fire him.
No. God forbid they be ballsy.
Resign, or they're going to give him something, a mediocre role.
This is a headache thinking about what they are going to do. It's stressful.
I have a little bit of a rant here.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm gonna give you a few minutes because we're gonna wrap this.
It's not gonna be long. It's not gonna be long.
But go ahead, Tyler.
I see people talking about on Twitter about how they turn the game off, which is fine. I put the Big Ten championship game on last night, and I still followed it and everything. But if you're a fan of a team, you're going to watch whether they're good or they're bad, or they're really good or they're really shitty. Okay? You're not going to watch every stitch of every game if they suck.
No.
I get it.
I'll start watching.
I get it. If they suck really bad, you're not going to watch every inch of every game because it's impossible. But you're going to go to a game, or you're going to spend money on a jersey, or you're going to spend money on a hat or a t-shirt or what have you, knowing that the team isn't that great. And I've seen people on Twitter last night saying, they're the Dead Wings, who cares? Like, you were also the one that told me that you were a diehard fan. You can't have it both ways. Either you're a diehard fan or you're not. If you're a diehard fan, you're going to live with that team. You're going to die with that team, just like I have. My whole room is Red Wings. They lost 10-1 last night. They lost 10-1 last night against the Montreal Canadiens. My room is still all Red Wings. I got red trim. I got my red bed sheets. I got my Red Wings, everything. Socks, underwear, you name it, I have it. I love the team.
TMI.
I love the team, right? And I understand that everyone has other teams, like people like the Pistons. I get it. Okay, fine. But if you're a Red Wings fan and you claim to be a diehard Red Wings fan, then you're going to be with that team whether they're good, they're bad, or they really suck or they're really good. And if you're in the middle of that and you're saying, I'm not really a fan anymore, then you're a fair weather fan to begin with. And that's just really where I draw the line. I'm like, you tell me you're this big fan when the team is good, but now the team isn't that good, and you're not going to watch the games. You're not going to pay attention to what happens. Oh, but then when the team is good again, you're going to be the first one that's like, oh, the bad years were so bad. Oh my God, they were so bad. They were terrible. We were horrible. I'm so back. The Red Wings are back. Hockey Town is alive again. Like, don't give me that shit. Either you're a fan or you're not. You're a diehard fan or you're not a diehard fan. And if you're not a diehard fan, that's fine. But don't sit here and try to preach to me that you're a fucking diehard fan when you're really not. Yeah. It's easy to be a fan of a team when they're doing good.
It's called bandwagon.
It's called a bandwagon. Exactly.
Yep.
And Michigan fans have gone through it a lot. I'm not going to go into it too Michigan. Much, but before Harbaugh, things were really, really, really bad, right? And then Harbaugh
comes and Brady Hoke,
and things have turned out, pretty good. Okay, and that's the only analogy I can really give it. But now all of a sudden, because the team isn't good, you're not going to watch the game. You're not going to buy the jersey. You're not going to buy the T-shirt. You're not going to You're not going to be a fan. Are you a hockey fan or you're not a hockey fan? Are you a Red Wings fan or not?
No.
Like there's no like flip flopping. You're either this or you're not. And I don't know what you guys think about that, but I've seen it on Twitter numerous times. I'm not watching a game until they fire Ken Holland.
That's why I stay off of Twitter during games, because I want to punch everybody because they're freaking idiots.
Okay, I get it. You don't support the decisions that have been made.
You lose brain cells reading these people's tweets. Like, they make no freaking sense.
None of us support the decisions they've made in the last 4 or 5 years.
But we're still fans of the game and fans
we're
of our
fans
team.
of the team. We do this podcast. We do this blog. We buy the jerseys. We buy the T-shirts. We buy the tickets. We go to the games. We talk about it in our group chat.
Yep.
So I don't get it.
Either you're with us or you're against us.
That's right.
Detroit versus
you're
everybody.
You're a hockey fan or you're not. Yes, that's hashtag for everyone Detroit. Hashtag Detroit versus everyone. That's our freaking motto.
I understand. Like I said before, I understand where the Pistons are doing really good and the Red Wings aren't. So you watch the Pistons. I get it.
Yeah,
I've been watching the Celtics a lot. The Celtics are a team that I've liked since I was a little kid. But if the Red Wings are on and the Celtics are on, I'm watching the Red Wings because the Red Wings are the team I live and die by, as are the Red Sox. So, like, I don't know if you guys can explain this to me other than it's bandwagony.
Yeah.
What do you do?
They're the fans that watch. They watch like a handful of games throughout the season, and they only watch when they play. Because half my family was like that. Well, I only watch in the playoffs. I'm like, well, guess what? There's gonna be a time where they don't make the playoffs, and then what are you gonna do? Like, don't tell me you're a hockey fan if you can't name me the 4 lines right now and who are top defensemen. Like, I used to get so mad. Plus, my uncles would egg me on because they know I would get mad. But still, even to this day, they will try to talk shit, and I'm like, well, do you even know who's on our team? Do you even know what their record is the last week? Like, don't start with me if you cannot keep tabs from October until March.
Yeah.
April.
Well, yeah, I think before Tyler and Tess both have an aneurysm.
Yes.
I think we're gonna have to wrap it up. I mean, we had a pretty good discussion on our post and pre-holiday now podcast.
My blood pressure can now come down.
Yeah,
that was very intense.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Tyler start with wrap-up thoughts and your Twitter handle, please.
Yeah, my final thoughts is don't suck on Tuesday against Winnipeg.
Okay, Twitter?
My Twitter handle is Tyler_Seeley. You can also follow the Winged Octopus on Twitter @Winged Octopus. You can also like us on Facebook, and you can also follow us on Instagram, Winged Octopus. We're going to be posting more on there. We're also going to be doing some live things on there, so like a Periscope type of thing on Instagram. So check that out for sure. We're going to be getting the Snapchat doing well like during the games and everything. So hopefully you guys follow us on there. It's also Winged Octopus. So I mean that's all I really have.
Tess, give us your final thoughts and your social media information, please.
Final thoughts is I was not mentally prepared for all this shit today. I'm going to get myself a drink after this. Jesus, help us. We need you. Please guide us to the winning light because it's so painful.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Painful. You know what? Always believe. Have some faith. Trust Jesus.
God's given us all the luck that we can have over the last 25 years. Tyler, it's not your turn to talk.
Shush. God. No, my Twitter handle is @TMDudleyXO. And yeah, let's just pray to God we can at least get a point on Tuesday. Greg, your turn.
I am your producer. I am Greg. I am at Bringing the Wing on Twitter. If we do not win in Winnipeg, you might not hear from me for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, we've got Winnipeg on Tuesday. We've got St. Louis on Saturday. It's a light week. Get us a win, or don't get us a win. Get us some better draft odds. Yeah, that's it for me. Tyler, I'm gonna let you take us out.
Yeah, so I guess my final thoughts are if you're not gonna win, tank. And tank hard. because you got some work to do because Phoenix and Buffalo have really put a dent into that. Yes. Arizona and Buffalo really
Coyotes.
put a dent into that. Yes, the Coyotes. We know what they are. Get that team out of here. Right? So we're going to be doing a rapid fire again. Hopefully you guys like that. We're going to do one of those before Christmas, hopefully. Hopefully we get a few more podcasts in before then. Because that was really fun. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Lots of fun, yes.
But yeah, so I'm going to take you guys out. That's it. Hopefully the Wings can beat Winnipeg, and if not, get us some good draft odds, and hopefully in June we'll be able to select Rasmus Dahlin first overall, right?
Drop them ping pong balls.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all I have, guys. Everybody stay classy, Hockey Town, and go Wings, I guess, right?
Yep. Good night,
Go
everybody.
Wings.